Welcome back to beautiful Mooloolaba on Australia's Sunshine Coast, where the surf is riding high and tourists are enjoying all that this incredible destination has to offer. Triathlon fever is in the air and the men are now ready to hit the waters of the Mooloolaba River for the start of the race. 41 men from around the world have all made the journey to Australia for the third race of the season, traveling miles across the globe from the last event in Jordan. One of those athletes is Spain's Ivan Rania, who despite the jet lag is eager to improve on his top 10 finish at the last race.
I think it's very complicated to have a lot of races, good races during the season. For me, it's more important to have 2 or 3 big days. After the Jordan, I decided to come here, just with 1 week before this race. So for me, the jet lag is complicated. Maybe with 1 or 2 coffees is okay for wake up.
Last year's World Cup champion Hunter Kemper from the United States is making his season debut in Mooloolaba, but after a stellar 2005, he's still unsure what goals to set for 2006.
2005 was just a great year for me, and it was a big goal of mine to try to finish the year #1, and I was able to accomplish that. And this year, I kind of quite haven't figured out what it is I really want to go after. I mean, do I still want to kind of try to end up the year #1, or do I really want to try to go after Lausanne and really try to go for a world title and be on the podium there? So I think it's almost, I don't know if the goals can really be the same. I think a lot of times you have to kind of separate the two a little bit and just focus on one event. And last year I didn't have to do that. I just kind of raced the whole circuit. So I haven't quite made my mind up yet. I mean, I definitely want to go well to World Championships and on the day and go well there. But it's always fun to be ranked #1 throughout the whole season. It was a fun year last year.
Kemper's chances of finishing well in Mooloolaba are enhanced by the fact that several top competitors are sitting this one out to recover from the Commonwealth Games in Melbourne just a week ago, leaving room for the fresher legs in the crowd to perhaps steal an early victory. Now taking a look at a few names to watch besides Kemper, we've got world champion Peter Robertson, Olympic silver medalist Bevan Doherty, and all eyes on the water will, as always, be on swim specialist Craig Walton. Now once again with the race commentary, here's Barry Shepley.
A very elite men's field as they start off here. Very warm water, and again, if you're just joining us, the huge cyclone that came through Mooloolaba over the past few days, changing what has been a traditional ocean swim to the river. And Craig Walton, farthest away from the screen, the powerful man from Tasmania, taking it out here. We know that Walton not firing at 100% of health, but his incredible swim and bike capacity, one of the major factors in any triathlon he gets in. 2-lap swim, but the men will not be coming out of the water, so the swim preem will be the first athlete to get back towards shore. And Craig Walton, the man who has won the T. Savaris and Corner Brook triathlons on more than one occasion, taking out very quickly right now and on his feet. Mickey Petzold from Germany, Courtney Atkinson right into that group as well. Dylan McNeese, a young Kiwi that we don't know much about, but there's some great swimmers. You can look back now into the chase group where it is very thick as they're coming around the second of the swim boys. 2 laps, a total of 1,500 meters, and it is a 2 transition swim. Late into our 1,500 meter swim here, and Craig Walton continuing to force the pace. A past bronze medalist at the World Championships, and Craig Walton is really now starting to break up this pack. Hunter Kemper into that chase group down by about 15 to 20 seconds. Hunter Kemper, the #1 ranked man in 2005. A very important victory at the Beijing World Cup Triathlon, site of the 2008 Olympic Games. Hunter Kemper, the 2-time Olympian, coming into town just hours before the race. He said he wanted to try to see how his body responded on a very long flight from the United States all the way to Australia. He's coming from Colorado Springs where there was snow on the ground, so Hunter Kemper really testing himself, and we saw this last year where he came out on his first 2 races with a second in Hawaii and then his victory in Mazatlan. And right now Hunter Kemper is trailing our lead group by about 15 to 20 seconds, and it is Craig Walton powering through the final part of the swim. Just 20 meters back to shore, and there's only one man that you would expect to be first, and that is the great Craig Walton. Big Australian will be the swim preem winner for about the 100th time of his career as he comes out of the water. McNeese from New Zealand, Petzold from Germany, Courtney Atkinson from Australia. And you can see the gap they have back to the chase. That is a very powerful group of men, and if they are able to get away, this could be a very significant element in the race. Don't know a lot about young McNeese from New Zealand, but we certainly do about Courtney Atkinson and Walton. And looking back over to the right of the screen, our Japanese athletes, Hirano just coming out of the water. I can see the likes of Hunter Kemper just coming through, Reed from New Zealand as well. So a very powerful chase group coming up, and they're down by about 25 seconds. But our leaders on the left side of the screen now already out there, and it is Craig Walton powering it up very quickly. Hunter Kemper to the right, getting the helmet on, trying to make as quick a transition as possible as our chase group of athletes going out on the start of this 8-lap, 40-kilometer ride. Blue sky day, and it's absolutely perfect for racing here in Mooloolaba. Walton 17:50, his countryman Courtney Atkinson just a few seconds back. McNeese and Petzold, and then 20-plus seconds back to Hunter Kemper, and Paul Tischler from Canada only 49 seconds down for the man who raced at the Commonwealth Games. And what a powerful man he is, Craig Walton, head down, and already Walton and Courtney Atkinson have broken away as the two of them are trying to make a significant impact early on, and we can see our chase group now coming around the turnaround. Lap number 1. Shane Reed into that group, Mickey Petzold is into that chase group, Hunter Kemper is into that group, some very powerful men. Back to our second of our chase groups, Bevan Docherty, the Commonwealth Games silver medalist and Olympic Games silver medalist. Didn't have the swim that he would have loved to have today. Peter Robertson into there as well, and that is an incredibly talented chase group coming up from behind. Mark Freda from the United States just going through the screen. What a great shot of the powerful Australians. Atkinson on the right, Walton on the left, and the two of them doing a great job of sharing the trade-offs. We know that Walton still not in the great running shape that he would like to be, and here comes our chase group with Petzold, Hunter Kemper just coming into the middle of the screen. David Dello, the man who's got 2 fourths already this year, just taking the lead here as they're taking their 10 to 15 second pulls. They're coming back in to a very small chicane. They'll come through a tent right into the transition zone and go back out again. A great downtown course. The Australians have certainly supported this event over the last few years. Our chase group now down by about 35 seconds, and they were sort of holding that over the last few kilometers. It'll be Craig Walton going back out along with Courtney Atkinson. They'll be coming into the bike preem very shortly, and he's up and powering away as Walton, who won the swim preem, looks like he's going to try to claim the bike preem as well as they go back out to the start of their 3rd lap here. The chase group on the opposite side of the road. Will Clark from Great Britain, a new name to the sport, and somebody I think we're going to have to take a look out for over this season, because he certainly has shown that he's got some great potential. Second at the European 23 and under championships. Both of these men certainly would have loved to have been swimming in the huge surf today. They were disappointed when it got turned over to the river, but they've made the most of their swim nonetheless. Shane Reed, Mickey Petzold, just coming into the screen, David Dello, Paul Tischler from Canada, the man who just got his engineering ring not too long ago from the University of Alberta, a very bright young man, 8th place at the Commonwealth Games. It's Walton and Atkinson powering away here, and they have continued to show their absolute domination on the bike. What a great shot looking out into the surf. Our chase group right now about 25 seconds down, so they are holding the gap that they lost early on this bike and trying to make their way back through. They're coming back towards the transition zone. The 2 men there, that's Walton and Atkinson, and then on the opposite side of the screen, our chase group, including Hunter Kemper, Shane Reed, Mickey Petzold as well. The 2005 Mooloolaba World Cup champion was Simon Thompson, and Thompson not racing here. He did race at the Commonwealth Games, but just a bit of an injury, so the 2005 winner not there. It looks like a little bit of a conversation happening between the two. I think Walton has decided to go off solo. Courtney Atkinson maybe deciding to save just a bit of his legs for what will become a brutal run with some incredible men in this field. Our third chase pack just going through there, and that includes the likes of Bevan Docherty. And here comes our second chase pack, and they will be picking up Courtney Atkinson shortly and trying to track down the likes of Craig Walton. Walton now, it is vintage Craig Walton. Can he go off the front solo? We've seen him do it in Newfoundland. We've seen him do it in Hungary. Courtney Atkinson has wisely sat up and waited for the chase pack to come. The man who has got one of the best sprints in the sport will now have to worry about his running legs if he wants to get on the podium. David Dello up and out of the seat right now as our chase group of men are all going after the great Craig Walton. Walton back into the transition zone, and he will continue to hear the cheers of the crowd. He's been greatly supported over the years in Australia. They know there's only one way to race when you're Craig Walton, and that is off the front. Walton in lap 6 of 8, and here comes Hunter Kemper, and they are now down to less than 12 seconds. So Hunter Kemper really rallying the troops right now, along with Paul Tischler, Shane Reed, Mickey Petzold, as they are bringing back the great Craig Walton, and Walton starting to fatigue. He's been outside there for almost 45 minutes on his own, and the chase group now starting to come after. Our second of our chase groups, including Peter Robertson and Bevan Docherty, about 35 seconds down on Hunter Kemper's pack. Chris Gimmel just coming into our sights, and Gimmel, the man who did that brilliant sprint finish at the 2005 New Plymouth Triathlon to come second. He was 4th at the Commonwealth Games, a past World Cup winner. Lots of illness last year, but the second half of the season really started to kick in, and Chris Gimmel, a very powerful man, and he has now broken away from the lead pack and has caught up to Craig Walton. The two of them now are trying to ride together, and we'll see whether or not this strategy will pay off for Chris Gimmel. He's never afraid to take a risk. To have a little bit of a chance of a podium, you have to take a risk occasionally, and Chris Gimmel is certainly a man who does make calculated risks. This is the chase group, and includes Mickey Petzold, David Dello, Paul Tischler. This group of men trying to track down the likes of Chris Gimmel and Walton, and there you can see now how close it is. Walton in the lead in the black, Gimmel in the white, and the chase group just about 6 seconds down, so they have ridden a very calculated ride. In the late stages now of this 40-kilometer bike ride, Chris Gimmel taking on some fuel right now. He's going to need it for that very tough 10-kilometer run. Craig Walton, head still down. And we are into the 7th lap of our total of 8 laps, 40 kilometers. They'll be going through the second of the bike creams very shortly, coming back towards the transition zone. Will Clark just coming into the scene right there. As our leaders come back into the transition zone, they'll head out onto the final lap. Bike cream coming up, Petzold, Reed, Kemper, just going through right now. David Dello trying to hang on. They've got one more lap before they start their 10-kilometer run. David Dello struggling to catch back on. Here comes our chase pack. And included in there the likes of Peter Robertson, Bevan Docherty. They've been riding very well. Young Clark from Great Britain as they go through. And they're down right now. Mark Fred at the back of that pack. They're down by just over 50 seconds as we have now less than 4 kilometers to go on this 40-kilometer ride. Well, a tremendous amount of work for Craig Walton, but he will be back into the pack now as our lead group of men come into the transition zone. 1,500-meter swim, 40-kilometer bike ride accomplished, and now it's all going to come down to this 10-kilometer run. Off the bike, Walton, Gimmel, Tischler from Canada as they come through. Dello from Australia, Hunter Kemper, the #1 ranked man from 2000. and 5, and it is Chris Gimmel first to head out onto the start of this 10-kilometer run. Starting to get very warm here in Mooloolaba as the men go around the circular tree, back out past the VIP, and they will see the chase group of athletes coming in off the bike shortly. That'll include Bevan Docherty and Peter Robertson. And here they come to the right of the screen. They'll be coming off the bike. Robertson, Docherty, Will Clark from Great Britain, Mark Freda from USA on the right of the screen. And to the left, it is Chris Gimmel pushing the pace here very early on in the 2006 men's race. David Dello to the right of the screen, trying to come up, and here comes our chase pack. They are moving very well coming off the bike. Mickey Petzold, Dan Wilson, Shane Reed, Hunter Kemper, Chris Gimmel, all coming off just over an hour and 16 minutes and change. Paul Tischler, David Dello as well. And then almost a minute back to Van Ranja, the 2002 world champion, Peter Robertson, the 3-time world champion, Bevan Docherty, the Commonwealth Games silver medalist, Olympic Games silver medalist as well. They are pushing very hard here on this men's race. Courtney Atkinson, wisely, I think, going back into the pack, conserving some energy. And here comes the chase athletes, Peter Robertson and young Clark pushing very quickly on. Van Ranja into the chase group a minute down. Bevan Docherty trying to take on some fuel right now. Cedric Fleurton into that group, Andrew Johns as well. Leading the race right now, however, it is Courtney Atkinson as he is forced to pace going up one of the many hills on this course. The blue Atkinson to the left of the screen, coming up from behind, really working his arms was Chris Gimmel. And Peter Robertson is starting to run through the field right now in 9th place, and he goes through Craig Walton, who was almost a minute ahead of him off the bike. And look at Peter Robertson. This is vintage Robertson as he is trying to track down the leaders. Number 1 and 2 right now, Atkinson from Australia, Chris Gimmel from New Zealand. Gimmel was at a wedding last night, didn't get in till almost 4 o'clock in the morning, Bryce Quirk's wedding, so we're not quite sure if he even knows that he's at a triathlon right now, but he's certainly in a good position. And Robertson is running through the field now, already up to 7th place. He's caught David Dello, who is off the bike in the lead group ahead of him, and Peter Robertson really forcing the pace here early on this 10-kilometer run. But it's a 2-man battle up front. Atkinson, a 2-time World Cup winner from the past, and Chris Gimmel, the man who won in Korea, just about stole that victory in New Plymouth. And look at Peter Robertson go. He's now run through Will Clark. And this is an absolutely incredible pace, just over 15-minute pace for 5K he's running. And Robertson is going to have to sustain this for another 5K. It's Hunter Kemper in 3rd place. You can see him back, but it's Atkinson with Chris Gimmel on his back. Hunter Kemper, first race of the year for Kemper, coming from ice and cold and snow in Colorado Springs, and he's showing some great early season fitness. Courtney Atkinson trying to prove that he should have been on that Commonwealth Games team. A little thing to prove for sure. Shane Reed and Wilson from Australia just coming around at the 5K mark. And as they go back out, it is Peter Robertson just running through the field right now. He's less than 20 seconds down, and you can see the kind of gap he's already made. Wilson and Reed just ahead of him, the next victims, and Peter Robertson is on a mission. Mickey Petzold and David Dello starting to suffer. Bevan Docherty now is starting to make his move back in about 11th place. And Robertson now has gone through Wilson and Reed, and this man is on a mission with only 1 place in his mind. Peter Robertson never looks for second. Currently in 4th place, he has had an incredible first 5.5 kilometers of this 10-kilometer run. Back to our leaders, it's Atkinson in the blue on the left, Chris Gimmel in the white, and just behind them it is Hunter Kemper. Peter Robertson right now in 4th as he's starting to talk to the cameraman. Looks like he might be suffering a bit. Well, that's been an incredible piece of running. Peter Robertson right now in 4th place, and he's going to still have to make up a gap on Hunter Kemper, Chris Gimmel, and Courtney Atkinson, the 3 men who are ahead. You'll see Robo on the opposite side, and they'll realize that that man is coming, and he puts a fear into the hearts of most of the athletes. A 3-time world champion, 2-time silver medalist at the World Champs. Hunter Kemper showing that he's not going to give up on this event. Kemper right now in just gapping up into that 1st, 2nd, and 3rd spot. Robo playing to the crowd. He is certainly an entertainer, and right now he's hanging on tough. Peter Robertson in 4th. Bevan Docherty now starting to show his form, currently in 7th spot. He is really starting to move through these latter parts of this 10-kilometer run. Robo with those small legs trying to track down Hunter Kemper just up ahead. And it is Bevan Docherty now starting to make his move, currently in 5th place. Just Peter Robertson, Hunter Kemper, Chris Gimmel, and Courtney Atkinson ahead. Bevan Docherty, along with Chris Gimmel, were at Bryce Quirk's wedding late last night, so he got into town with just hours to go. Back into the transition zone, still another lap to go, and Robo in 4th place. You'll look across and see that it's about 8 seconds to gap up to 3 athletes ahead of him, and he'll see Bevan Docherty coming up hard from behind. Home crowd favorite Peter Robertson trying to track down Courtney Atkinson, who's in the lead. Now Hunter Kemper moving ahead of Chris Gimmel. You can see Robo back in 4th place. A great battle out there right now, and Robo starting to show fatigue. And why not? It has been an incredible hard piece of running. He looks like he's just about to catch Chris Gimmel. Atkinson with something to prove. If he makes top spot here today, number 1, he will claim his spot for the World Championship, so a lot on the line. Robo now going through Chris Gimmel. He's into 3rd place. Only Hunter Kemper and Courtney Atkinson ahead. Bevan Docherty now sitting back in 5th place, and he continues to run very well. The fluid on, trying to keep his body cool, is Robo coming into our screen, sitting in 3rd. Chris Gimmel just behind him. It is Courtney Atkinson and Hunter Kemper, 2 of the men who had World Cup victories in 2005, currently holding the lead. Oh, you can hear the crowd saying, "Go Robo," and now it's Hunter Kemper's turn to take the lead. What a great battle on this run today. We've had about 6 lead changes. Peter Robertson hopes to make it 7 as he's sitting in 3rd place and trying to track down Hunter Kemper. Now late into our final stages of the Mooloolaba 2006 men's triathlon. Hunter Kemper and Courtney Atkinson battling it out there right now. 3rd place, Peter Robertson. Chris Gimmel coming back to battle. And he looks like he's not giving up. Chris Gimmel, we have seen the tenacity of this man, and it is going to be a second effort as Chris Gimmel and Peter Robertson now fighting it out for the 3rd spot. And Robo looks like he's starting to drop back, so Gimmel, kudos to this man for not giving up. Hunter Kemper now realizing that his lack of racing might start to be a factor. Hunter Kemper in his first race of 2006, and here comes Bevan Docherty. Docherty right now sitting in 4th place, and it'll be his teammate Chris Gimmel, the 2 of them racing at the Commonwealth Games just a week ago. What an incredible last 2 years for this man. 2004 World Champion, Olympic Games silver medalist, Commonwealth Games silver medalist, sprint finish champion in his home course in New Plymouth. And taking in the fuel right now, Courtney Atkinson realizes that he still has another 6 or 7 minutes of hard running to go. He's going to try to burn off Hunter Kemper, but he still has some incredible runners coming up from behind, and it is 2 Kiwis sitting in 3rd and 4th place. Bevan Docherty in 3rd, Chris Gimmel in 4th. Just over a mile to go here at the 2006 Mooloolaba Triathlon, and we have an incredible battle on the run. It's Bevan Docherty now starting to make his move. He's trying to pull away. And as they go through onto the final lap, it is Courtney Atkinson, Hunter Kemper, Bevan Docherty, Chris Gimmel, and Peter Robertson sitting back in 5th place. What an epic battle out on this course as Atkinson, if he can win this race, will claim his spot for the 2006 World Championship team for Australia. Bevan Docherty right now in 3rd place, and as they hear the bell, they will realize they have one more time up and over that hill. Bevan Docherty starting to dig in now. He realizes he's less than 10 seconds off the lead, and as big strong Kiwi goes after the American Hunter Kemper, we'll see the difference in the seasoning as Hunter Kemper's in his first race of 2006. Courtney Atkinson and Bevan Docherty well into the Australian and New Zealand season, and they're both in great form. And here they come up and over the hill. It is Bevan Docherty running through Courtney Atkinson now, just one more man ahead. Another lead change here. Bevan Doherty looks like he's going to take over number one. Hunter Kemper struggling, his arms really starting to show fatigue now. They're down to the last mile. Hunter Kemper, the number one ranked man, the first time an American has held that spot in over 12 years on the men's side. It has been dominated on the American women. Great Barb Lindquist, Sheila Taramina, just two of the Americans, along with Siri Lindley, who were number one ranked on the women's side. And as we take a look, it is Hunter Kemper, Courtney Atkinson, and Bevan Doherty trying to go with each other. They don't want that gap to happen. Listening to the breathing. Less than a half a step off, and this is a critical part of this run right now, as Bevan Doherty knows he's got to try to burn off Hunter Kemper on this hill. Just listen to the breathing, and Bevan Doherty playing the chess master as he's used the hill to make his break. Hunter Kemper trying to hang on right now, but Bevan Doherty seems like he has absolutely mastered this moment. Silver medalist at the Olympic Games, silver medalist at the Commonwealth Games, world champion 2004. What a resume for the young man, still under 30 years of age. Beijing in his dreams. He told me he's glad he didn't win the gold medal at the 2004 Athens Games because he wants to have one more thing to drive him in his career. Hunter Kemper, only thing missing from his resume is a medal at a World Championships or Olympic Games. He has done it all on the World Cup circuit. And we're coming down now to the last 500 meters here. And Hunter Kemper is not going to have enough gas as Bevan Doherty has absolutely timed it to perfection, coming back down into the last few hundred meters. The crowd has stayed here all day long, 3,000 plus of them racing early on in the morning. And it is Bevan Doherty that will be the 2006 Mooloolaba Men's Triathlon Champion. And he can't believe his great luck. Just 20 hours before, he was at a wedding, standing in Bryce Quirk's wedding. He got into town late, but it is a victory here, 1:49.42. 31:45, and what an incredible effort by Bevan Doherty from New Zealand. Hunter Kemper into town late, wanted to test his travel while he got a silver medal just like he started off the 2005 season. The American across the line, 1:49.45. And Courtney Atkinson, who did so much of the work on the swimming bike early on. Atkinson, your bronze medalist, 1:49.57, a 32:52 run. Young Clark from England with a great finish here. He'll be fifth on the day. Chris Gilmore was fourth. And Peter Robertson, what an incredible run for at least 7 kilometers. Robertson, the bronze medalist at the Commonwealth Games, will have to settle for 6 here in Mooloolaba. Well, he only knows one way, and that's empty the tank. What an incredible effort by Peter Robertson, but the day belonged to the Kiwis, particularly Bevan Doherty, who reigned supreme.
It's a good start. Obviously, it helps, you know, having a major event like the Commonwealth Games at the start of the year. I was always going to be in some good shape, but you know, it's a long year ahead of me, and World Champs are in September. I'm really focusing to that race, so you know, I think I really have to pace myself.
I was just kind of in third for a long time, right behind Courtney and Chris Gemmel, and just I had one pace. That's all I had. I mean, I haven't done a whole lot of speed work back in Colorado. It's not too warm. The heat really kind of wore on me, but I just kind of kept on plugging away, and you know, I was happy to be on the podium. Hopefully, I can try to get back to you know, eventually the #1 world spot. It's going to be very difficult. We got a lot of great athletes on circuit, and you know, it's a good start to my season. I'll take it from here, and hopefully it'll go well.
That was a very interesting race. We don't have too many races these days like that, where it's a real all-rounders race, and you know, you got at the end there was 3 of us, and I think we all come from different packs in the ride, you know. So, you know, I think my race was a bit silly in hindsight, but when you put yourself in a position to be out in the lead, it's, you know, you give it a go, and you know, it didn't quite work today, but I was pretty damn happy to end up on the podium still.
3 of the greatest men to race on the World Cup circuit. Courtney Atkinson showing that he can get it done on any day. A bronze medalist from Australia. Hunter Kemper, the 2005 man, #1 ranked, starting the season off on a podium. And the man who does it big when he has to do it, Bevan Doherty, the champion here for Mooloolaba 2006. 1:49.42 for Doherty. Hunter Kemper just 3 seconds back. Chris Gilmore. Will Clark, look out for that young British athlete as we look through the top 10. Mark Freda again with another top 10 for the Americans. Hendrik de Villiers from South Africa. And as we take a look at the end of 3 World Cup races. Vladimir Polikarpenko continues to lead David Dello into that group. Brad Caulfield, the Commonwealth Games gold medalist, sitting out today, but that man sitting in the top 10.
And that wraps things up from Mooloolaba in Australia. We're now off to Ishigaki, Japan for round 4 of the ITU World Cup Series. Be sure to join us then.